Hey, it's John, and it's time for the J-Mart cast for Monday, December 13th. What's going on? How are ya? Friends and family, thank you for joining me for another episode of the J-Mart cast. How's your week been? Mine's been kind of weird. A lot of good things happened. Some not so good things happened as well. I'll start with the good stuff, I suppose. Earlier this week, on Tuesday, I believe it was, I had one of my neighbors who I've made friends with, I've made friends with my sourdough bread. I just go around giving loaves of sourdough to all my neighbors as a way to bribe them into being my friends. And so this neighbor who I brought a loaf to was a very friendly one, and she found out that I'm a personal trainer and said to me that she was looking into getting into shape, possibly getting a new membership at a nearby gym. And so I said, that's great. Go ahead and go get your membership. And if you have any questions, any help that you need to kind of get on your journey towards getting stronger, feeling better, let me know. I can do a free assessment or something like that and give you an idea of what are the top 3 things you could be working on to reach your goals. And she totally took me up on that. So on Tuesday, she came and we did our assessment. I asked her a bunch of questions about her health and the activities she's done previously. And we also did a movement screen, an assessment to just make sure, or just to check out what are some of her strengths and deficiencies with regards to movement. And then after that, I gave her, like I had promised, kind of my top 3 things to work on. She seemed pretty impressed and wanted to continue work longer term. So then on Thursday was our first training session together. It went really well. I'm really happy. And what's even awesome with this lady, she's a nice person, very open-minded, and was totally willing to hear me out on a bunch of things, not just fitness related. So I have at this point actually partly orange pilled her and asked her or convinced her to pay me in Bitcoin rather than dirty fiat money, dirty Canadian dollars. I don't want that, none of that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Getting paid in Bitcoin. So yeah, that's pretty exciting, pretty dope. Assessment on Tuesday, first training session on Thursday, going to continue starting Monday. So it's going to be great moving forward. I'm excited to go get back into training. I kind of stopped for a while there due to the pandemic. So times are changing. Luckily now there are some awesome people like my neighbor who are willing to meet with a trainer one-on-one in person and work on getting stronger, getting more flexible, getting better endurance, just improving your health and fitness. I'm very happy that that's back on the table. Let's see what else happened this week. On Friday, I had some friends come over and hang out, which was very nice. It's awesome to have friends come over and see our little baby daughter, who's nearly 3 weeks old now. So that was great to show her off. She's like my pride and joy right now. And it's just ecstatic to have other people come see her and kind of, appreciate her the way that I do. I'm just at like this amazing place right now with my kids, where I have 2 kids. One of them is this tiny little, less than 3-week-old baby that's like the cutest thing in the world that I just like love rocking in my arms and just staring at her. And the other one is a 2.5-year-old boy toddler who loves roughhousing, loves screaming, loves like making loud noises, running around and being rambunctious. And that's like totally my jam. I love doing all that. I love wrestling with him, throwing up in the air, catching him, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm in this dream place as a father where I can go back and forth between the tenderness of like a little newborn baby girl and the rambunctiousness of like a toddler 2.5-year-old boy, and going back and forth between those is just amazing. I am super blessed and happy to have that in my life. So yeah, that was Friday. And then Saturday, the next day, was this weather-wise very, very strange day. So it's middle of December now, like December 11th was the day, and the temperature rose quite high. It rose to like 13 degrees that day. Very surprising for mid-December to have such a warm day where you can basically walk outside with no jacket on. So I actually, on weekends, I usually drop off my older kid, my boy, at my parents or at my wife's parents, just for a couple of days to give us a little bit of free time to just focus on the newborn and for ourselves. And so I dropped off my kid at my parents' house, and on the way back, this was a bit of an omen. As I'm driving back on the highway, there's like this relatively large branch, not like humongous, but relatively large, like there's something that shouldn't be on the highway, that like flew out of nowhere right into my path, and it was last minute, and I had no choice but to kind of just drive over it. It was like no damage to the car. It was small enough that I could just, like, given the speed that the car was going, I just kind of like went right through it. A little bit of a crunch as I went through it, but nothing else. I checked, no damage, no nothing. So then I'm like, all right, that's no big deal, whatever. Didn't think much of it. Then I got home and I'm talking to my wife at home. We're just like hanging out, whatever. Like, she's feeding the baby. I'm talking to her. And then all of a sudden we hear a large cracking sound, like a really loud cracking sound. We're like, what the hell is cracking? This is like, I get up off the couch, I look up, and I see that my neighbor's tree, which is a huge, huge tree, has one of the major branches from the base that is teetering, that is slowly breaking and falling. And I literally saw it fully break and start to fall. And as it's falling, I have like a million thoughts going through my head. I'm like, oh no, whatever falls is below that is going to get crushed. Second thought, oh no, it's going to fall on our side, even though the tree's on the neighbor's side. Third thought, oh no, it's going to fall on my car, isn't it? And I see it fall on the car, and even though I know it's going to happen, even though like there's nothing I can do to stop it, as it falls and crushes the car, I go like, oh no. Just like, it was perfect. Just, no. Like I knew it was happening. I couldn't stop myself from going, no. So yeah, we have a giant tree branch, which could be like its own tree basically, because this tree is so huge that, yeah, fell on our side, on the driveway, on the car. It crushed some of the railing on the steps leading up to the front entrance to our house. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the old DICK. I don't know what to say. Was not expecting that, obviously. The tree branch also crushed some of the railing on my neighbor's side, railing on the stairs leading up to his front house. Unfortunately, the railing on his side was made of glass, so there's a bunch of shattered glass all over the place. Luckily, the neighbor cleaned that up. He's a cool dude. It's actually our new neighbor who just moved in next door, like very recently, like maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. It's funny because he was saying how he was just starting to feel like he's getting settled. The family's getting settled in the house, and now they're dealt this hand. So it's kind of funny. But he's a nice dude. He called an arborist and insurance, everything. They're going to take care of it. Unfortunately, because of the time that it happened, it was kind of like later in the day, and it's still really, really windy. So I couldn't get anyone to come same day. This is now not the next day in the morning, so hopefully someone comes pretty soon to clean up this giant tree and lift it out of the way so that I can get my car out from under it. The hood got crushed by a portion of the tree branch. It got like dented in and scratched fairly badly. It looks like hopefully like it's just the hood and there's not too much damage with like the engine under the hood, but it's too early to tell. We'll see. What else? Crazy week. I don't know what to say about it. Like, well, I guess all I can say is I'm grateful that like it was like the least amount of damage that could have happened if I guess if I'm looking at it objectively, there's no people that got hurt. I wasn't in the car. No kids were in the car. Our neighbors weren't anywhere near their house when the branch fell down. So all in all, grateful that no one was hurt. Damage was fairly minimal, stuff that can be replaced. And seems like the insurance is going to take care of it. That's really good. Also, the neighbor seems very, very cool and is, going to make sure that everything's well taken care of and compensated. So all in all, while it's a horrible thing to have happened, if it was going to happen, it couldn't have happened any better, I guess, is one way to think about it. So thank God for that. Let's see, what else happened this week? Dear friends and family, unfortunately, you will not be able to hear the rest of the podcast on YouTube because YouTube is censoring me. If you'd like to listen to the remaining 20 minutes of the podcast, then I suggest you switch over from YouTube to Spotify or Apple Podcasts. The links are available in the description down below, so click on those and switch on over to a platform that does not censor, like YouTube.